In this video, we're going to look at what this person did to go from Norwood 3 to having a practically straight hairline using only one treatment. He didn't complicate his life at all by mixing pills, topical lotions, creams, shampoos, vitamins, or any other types of treatments. No. Furthermore, we'll see why you shouldn't believe everything hair gurus and social media creators on YouTube, TikTok, or Instagram say. Most likely, these people don't have the necessary background to read and understand scientific literature. In many cases, they haven't even read a single study. They simply follow what other channels say, and of course, they end up getting it completely wrong. But first, let's look at 3 men with androgenic alopecia who used topical treatments only. Here we have the hair condition of a 25-year-old man who, as we can see, started with hair loss localized in the frontal area, a grade 2 on the Norwood Hamilton scale. Well, this is the progress after only 2 months of using 5% topical minoxidil once daily. As we can see, many small hairs have grown in the frontal area, and he has also managed to significantly increase his hair density. Something this person mentioned is that he experienced a fairly significant shedding phase between week 2 and week 3 of treatment. The thing is, minoxidil will work regardless of the type of alopecia you have. But if you have androgenic alopecia, the only way to attack one of the primary causes of your hair loss is to use finasteride or dutasteride. If this person continued using only minoxidil, his alopecia would likely keep progressing over time, because this drug does not act on DHT, the hormone responsible for the miniaturization of our follicles. Knowing this, many wonder if there is a topical option without using pills to treat androgenic alopecia. The answer is a resounding yes: topical finasteride. Here we have the hair condition of a 27-year-old patient before statin treatment with 7% minoxidil and 0.3 finasteride. As you can see, his hair loss was localized in the frontal area and also affected the temporal peaks. It's worth noting that after 3 months, this person switched his treatment to 5% minoxidil and 0.1% finasteride. The reason was simply a change in the brand he was using, which had lower concentrations of both drugs. Well, this is his condition after only 4 months of treatment. As you can see, his transformation has been truly remarkable for only 4 months. This person managed to vastly improve the frontal area and, above all, clearly improved the temples, increasing both hair thickness and density. He points out that he began to notice a visible improvement around the 2nd month of treatment and did not experience any shedding. In this third case, we have a patient who was 33 years old before starting treatment. As you can see, he started with the grade 3 on the Norwood Hamilton scale, with hair loss localized in the frontal area and the receding hairline. Here's his condition after 15 months of using 5% minoxidil and 0.1% finasteride. As you can see, the change is simply brutal. He managed to increase both hair thickness and density, turning many of his miniaturized hairs into healthy terminal hairs. This person mentions that he was quite skeptical before starting the treatment. He didn't believe he could recover the hair lost to alopecia. But now he's extremely glad he took the step and, above all, stayed consistent with the treatment. In case you were wondering, 0.25% of topical finasteride has been shown to have similar efficacy to 1 mg of oral finasteride, but with less systemic impact. Furthermore, we know that after using 1 mg of oral finasteride for 2 years, it's possible to maintain the gains using a topical finasteride concentration as low as 0.1%. And now let's see which specific YouTuber I was referring to at the beginning of the video. Al Garrido. This Spanish YouTuber uploads content in English and is becoming quite popular on social media. So far, so good. The problem is that half of the things he says make no sense. It's clear that he either doesn't understand the scientific literature or hasn't done any research on the topics he covers, likely relying on a mix of content from other creators. And yes, undoubtedly, there are some doctors who might have served as inspiration, but who clearly do not base their content on science.
Let's start with the safest, but also the weakest option of them all. Topical minoxidil. This is the classical starting point. Topical minoxidil is extremely safe. Next, let's see the weakest and most dangerous option. Systemic spironolactone, 200 milligrams. The strongest treatment, but also most dangerous. High-dose oral minoxidil, 2.5 milligrams to 5 milligrams. Oral minoxidil at this dose is highly powerful, very effective at regrowing hair. At last, in the last category, we find the safest and most effective of them all, finasteride or dutasteride.
As you can see, according to Al, this is a list of treatments you should consider for your alopecia, ordered by efficacy and safety. We have to start by talking about spironolactone. As this 2023 systematic review points out, spironolactone is an effective and safe treatment for female androgenic alopecia. However, it can have relatively serious and frequent side effects, such as scalp pruritus or increased scurf in 19%, menstrual disorders in 12%, and facial hypertrichosis in 7%. Without a doubt, there's more interesting and safer options. In this sense, I can understand why he labels this treatment as dangerous, but in terms of efficacy, it makes no sense to list it as low efficacy. To give you an idea, various studies in women with androgenic alopecia comparing spironolactone plus minoxidil and finasteride or dutasteride plus minoxidil suggest that the efficacy of both options is very similar. And in some studies, spironolactone proved to be even more effective. On the other hand, we have the issue of him placing topical minoxidil as safe but not very effective drug. Yet he places oral minoxidil, both the 2.5 mg and 5 mg versions, as very effective but very dangerous drugs. Here Al was right about the safety part, but he made a massive mistake regarding the efficacy of both treatments. First, as I said, he's right to label topical minoxidil as safe and oral minoxidil as dangerous. Without a doubt, oral minoxidil is one of the most dangerous drugs we can use to treat androgenic alopecia. I'll leave a pinned comment below with several videos where I cover this topic in detail. What you should know is that using low-dose oral minoxidil increases your risk of suffering a pericardial effusion. In a 1981 study that analyzed more than 1,800 case reports, 4.8% of patients suffered pericardial effusion. Of these 91 patients, 21 suffered pericardial tamponade, and 8 patients died because of it. Additionally, this study analyzed 37 patients, 9 of whom suffered pericardial effusion and 1 suffered pericarditis. In these 10 cases of pericardial disease, the authors found that oral minoxidil played a causal role in 3 of them, including a case of a man using 5 mg of oral minoxidil daily. According to the study's authors, patients who suffered pericardial effusion showed no specific characteristics that help predict the likelihood of experiencing this condition. Furthermore, the authors stated the following: since this reaction is idiosyncratic and potentially fatal, the use of oral minoxidil should continue to be limited. Moreover, we have 3 cases published in 2022 where these types of side effects were reported using doses as low as 0.25, 1.25, and 2.5 mg of oral minoxidil. Therefore, Al is correct in labeling oral minoxidil as dangerous, though it is obviously more dangerous than spironolactone. One thing that stands out is that Al classifies 2.5 and 5 mg as high doses of oral minoxidil, when current scientific literature actually defines them as low doses. This clearly shows that not only does he lack the necessary knowledge to understand clinical trials, but he hasn't even bothered to read their titles, where the term low-dose oral minoxidil is explicitly stated. Regarding the efficacy of topical versus oral minoxidil, you should know that no concentration of oral minoxidil, not 1 mg, 2.5 or 5 mg, has been proven to be more effective than 5% topical minoxidil. As researchers of the latest study on the matter concluded, a randomized double-blind placebo-controlled study comparing 5 mg of oral minoxidil versus 5% topical minoxidil, despite expectations of a massive superiority of oral minoxidil, so far, this treatment has not unequivocally proven to be superior to topical minoxidil in men or women. In fact, the conclusion of the latest systematic review and meta-analysis comparing both treatments published in April of 2025 is definitive. Both oral and topical minoxidil promote hair growth. However, according to our results, topical minoxidil might be associated with greater improvement in hair density and fewer side effects compared to oral minoxidil. The only thing that makes sense in Al's table is placing finasteride and dutasteride as the most effective drugs for androgenic alopecia, and noting that both drugs are very safe. However, if you're afraid of using finasteride or dutasteride due to potential side effects, I've just published the most comprehensive book on this topic. It will answer any questions you may have and help you make an informed decision. I'll leave the link in the description. As you can see, you can't trust just anyone who uploads videos to YouTube. More than half the time, the content creator lacks the knowledge or preparation required to handle these topics, especially when it comes to science and health. And now the time has come to see how this person, who now is 22 years old, managed to go from a grade 3 alopecia, where we see a significant lack of density in the frontal area and temples, to having a practically straight hairline, where it's absolutely impossible to tell he ever had alopecia. Before I reveal his treatment, tell me, what do you think he used? Finasteride? Dutasteride? Minoxidil? Or perhaps another drug? 1 milligram of oral finasteride daily for 2.5 years. That was his treatment. And the truth is that sometimes it's better to be consistent than to use half the pharmacy and quit halfway through. If you follow my Spanish channel, this case might sound familiar. We saw his progress after 1.5 years of treatment some time ago. And although it seemed almost impossible, he has improved even more. As scientific literature points out, although the first year on finasteride is the most important, the year where we get the best results, we can continue to improve year after year, just at a slower pace. Perhaps now you're wondering why I've published several cases of people using topical finasteride, but we've never seen success stories with topical dutasteride. If you want to know the answer to this question and to learn the latest updates on this treatment, you have to watch this video.